James, the last time you were on the show, we talked about wokeism or wokeness because there was this narrative that was going around on Twitter that it was from the left and it was accusing people on the right when we use the word woke to describe what the left is doing, their radical leftist ideology, it was accusing us of defining woke as anti-Black. Like the left was saying, oh, she's saying woke, but what she means is anti-Black. And I ask you, how would you define the word woke? Because it is a big bucket term. It's a new term that we've brought into the public consciousness, if you will. And we talked about that the last time. Anyone could go listen to that episode for a longer explanation. But I do want to hear your definition. And I want people who might not have heard that episode to hear your definition before we get into the solution to wokeism here in this country and sort of the ideological great-great-grandparents of wokeism. What is woke?
I mean, so I actually slightly disagree. I don't think it's a very big topic at all. It's actually got a lot of content that can go into it. But my definition of woke, I mean, obviously it means awakened in sort of a slang way of saying that, but like woke up or whatever. But what it means is that you have adopted a particular consciousness about the way the world works. It means that you have been awakened to the fact of the structural nature of our reality. In other words, that people construct reality in order to benefit those in power. And that carries with it certain what they call, well, not they, let me just name names, what Paulo Freire, who describes what I think is now called woke under the term conscientization, to be conscientized or made conscious. He says that it reveals that there are certain dehumanizing forms that contour our lives, whether those are colonialism for him or economic disparity, kind of like the Marxists would look at, because that's what he was post-colonialist and Marxist, but also systemic racism, systemic sexism, transphobia, etc., homophobia, all of these things that we hear kind of constantly from the left. So you're aware that there's these dehumanizing forms that contour our reality in a structural way, but there are also domesticating modes of communication behavior. So in other words, the very terms that society is written on domesticate people to accept the prevailing system. And so being woke means not just being aware of that, having been made conscious of that, but simultaneously realizing that you are a historical player who can transform that to something else. In other words, you become a Marxist activist. In other words, woke means being a neo-Maoist. It means being a Maoist with American characteristics is what it boils down to. It's extremely simple. It's not actually a complicated term. It doesn't require complicated definitions. It means having awakened to a cult consciousness of the way the world works that just so happens to be very Maoist in its nature.